Roger Reinert, Minnesota House, District 7B, which is the central and western part of Duluth.
What do you know about solar?
Well, actually, when I was a child growing up, my parents were one of those folks that took advantage of the federal government trying to get people to be more energy efficient. And so, they actually looked into, we didn't ever do the solar panels, but looked into doing the whole house, and we had a small farm, the farm based on solar energy. So at the time, I knew a lot. I don't know as much about the current technology, but it's definitely a viable alternative. And solar combined with wind especially, I think are probably two of the best options to at least draw down our dependency on oil.
How do we get manufacturing going up here tying into that?
Well, our great asset is the port. I think the same model that we've been pursuing on wind energy works around solar energy, and that's all these components come in through the port, through shipping. We have the great port access, the rail access, the freeway access, soon to be passenger rail, the airport. Duluth is a transit hub, so all these materials flow through. What we need to do is actually come up with a strategy around getting the materials to stop here and the assembly and manufacturing to take place. And a lot of work has gone into that around wind energy, because we literally see those components along the waterfront. I think the question around solar is, how do we look at doing some research? What do we do in Duluth that's value added so that we can sort of have a presence in the solar manufacturing world map? Cool.
Real quick, viability, I think, and you did really touch on this, but viability of solar in our area. A lot of people aren't aware of that.
Well, I think it's very viable. Just think of passive solar energy. One of the decisions I made when I bought a 100-year-old house on the hillside and rebuilt it and put a lot of glass on the lakeside. I spend money to basically heat the back half of the house. The front half, where I get good sun coming from the lakeside, on a day like today. So it was 10 below zero, and in the sunny side of my house, it was 75 degrees without any forced air natural gas heat. So, we know that passive energy, we have passive solar energy going on, so there's no reason to think that we couldn't use actual solar energy for all kinds of other things.
Don Ness, Mayor of the City of Duluth. Well, it's a tremendous renewable energy that has a tremendous amount of potential in the United States, especially as we integrate smart grid technology, allow people to put solar panels on the roof of their homes and hopefully turn their electric meter the other way.
What about the viability? Is it viable for northern Minnesota?
Well, I don't know much about it, but I understand at least in some of the solar mapping that's been done that they see some exciting potential. It's obviously getting the number of clear sunny days and then the intensity of the sun are both important indicators.
Jay Fosley, Duluth City Council.
Okay, Jay, what do you know about solar?
Well, I know that the sun shines on the panel, and the panel either heats your home or puts off some electricity for your home, possibly. I don't know much about it.
Do you think it's something that's viable in northern Minnesota?
Absolutely.
Why is it viable?
Because the sun shines a lot here. Okay.
Very little. I don't know what to tell you.
All right.
I think it's a clean energy, and I think we need to develop it.
So how can we do that?
I think the city can follow the county model as far as the governmental body, like the solar panels on the courthouses and stuff, which I understand the city's going to be doing. And promote development. I think that should be part of our economic plan.
Manufacturing and stuff.
Yep. Absolutely.
Is solar something viable up here in northern Minnesota?
Actually, Minnesota is one of the 5 sunniest states in the country. So yeah, it is very viable. I do know that.
See, you know a lot.
I know that solar is a source of energy, and it's important for us to be exploring alternative energy sources.
Is it viable here in northern Minnesota?
think there's places in northern Minnesota that it's definitely viable. It's not a first option, but when you have explored tightening your home and other weatherization practices, air sealing, then solar can be a good option.
I forgot you're part of the deep group, aren't you?
And I know that okay, so here this is
to like just show people, you know, some people know a little, some don't.
okay.
And then hopefully we'll come back and we'll use this.
Okay. All right. So this is what I know.
Start off, who are you and who do you represent?
I'm Charlotte Gardner. I'm city councilor for the 3rd District in Duluth. And
What do you know about solar?
well, like I said earlier, not much. What I do know is that they make solar panels, and that solar panels store heat, and that the heat that's stored in solar panels is free, except the solar panels are very expensive. So we're going to have to do something about improving the technology to capture that. I know that the Toyota Prius is supposed to be partially running this year, the 2010, on solar energy. I don't exactly know how that works, but I want to find out more about it. You know, I mean, one of the wonderful things about solar energy is the sun belongs to all of us, and we should be having energy and heat that is not expensive and actually free, because it is something that we all deserve to have. I mean, we cannot keep doing what we're doing to the planet with fossil fuels. We have to start doing something constructive. So, you know, I think there's a lot of room for improvement with solar, and I'm interested in learning more about the technology, but that's basically all I know.
Is solar viable for northern Minnesota?
I think it would be, yeah. I think if they have the right, if they're able to store the energy properly, I think it would be viable, certainly. I mean, when you think about the sun that we get, in the wintertime is the sun itself is into the south of us, and all that sun comes directly at us. And for the little bit of sun that we have during the time we have it, it's very warm. I mean, it certainly warms up the southern end of my house. You know, I have my front room, I have a sunroom in the southern exposure, and my bedroom is a southern exposure, and just from my windows alone, on sunny days when I keep things open, the heat is intense in there, even in the winter. So I think, yes, I think it's viable. I think any time you have technology, you can develop something, you can make it viable.
Todd Fedora, Duluth City Councilor.
Hey Todd, what do you know about solar?
I know it provides heat. I know through solar cells it can provide energy. I know that it has sunspots affect radiation coming into the earth. Get us in. Oh, I think solar is viable anywhere. As long as there's sunlight, you can get the solar voltaic cells. I think it's a viable alternative energy source.
Melanie Ford. I'm Melanie Ford. I'm the St. Louis County Attorney. Well, I know that it is a good source of electricity, that it's actually changed very much in the past few years. A few years ago, we, in my home, tried to get, we got some estimates about solar heating for our house, or at least for the hot water, and we were told that we didn't have enough sunny days in Duluth, but I hear that that's changed now, and that even though we have a lot of gray days in Duluth, that it's still, that now the technology is such that we can make it more viable and a good source of heat for the house or hot water or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it viable for Duluth, Minnesota?
That's what I'm being told. I haven't tried it myself, but I'm told that now compared to several years ago that it is viable for Duluth.